And Daly kicked 7 out of 8 goals before he was replaced late in the game. Canterbury's fourth. Welcome to the continuation of round 12 of the Winfield Cup, with our big game today between the Canberra Raiders and the Brisbane Broncos. We're bringing you all the action from Seaford Oval in Queanbeyan.
Plenty of home ground support for the Raiders. Ivan Henjak leading the side out. 100th game for that club today. And what an important one for the Raiders. Gary Belcher takes over the reins as skipper at fullback. Carey, Daly, Henjak for Meninga, Ferguson, O'Sullivan, Stewart. The forwards of Clyde, Coyne, Diamond, Lazarus, Walters, Todd. The coaches Tim Sheen.
And a critical time for the Broncos. Not only do they have to still contend with representative football, but they have 3 weeks when a lot of these players will be overseas in New Zealand. The full side: Duffy, Johns, Curry, Jackson, Kilroy. Lewis is there. French at halfback with Alan Langer's injury. Madison, Miles, Leman, Bacco, Walters and Dowling, coached by Wayne Bennett. And the referee today is Mick Stone. Well, this fella's seen plenty of football this year. Led Queensland to that memorable State of Origin victory during the week. Backing up again today. He led them to the Panasonic Cup. Now they're going to do all again as they take on the Raiders. Mick Stone blows time on. Belcher starts proceedings, and it's straight away taken by Dowling. Wet weather balls are being used, even though we are seeing sunshine today. The ground is very slippery as Bacco is met very solidly. It did rain here yesterday and last night. Now the referee Mick Stone in to break up what could have been an explosive situation. Walters being called out. That's Steve Walters from Canberra up against his brother Kerrod Walters in the Broncos lineup. And the Broncos get the first penalty.
Very importantly, when the two captains met in the tunnel for the kick-off earlier this afternoon, Mick Stone warned both captains, as we saw in yesterday's match between Balmain and South, the attacking side could be penalised today for being inside the 5, as well as playing heading downfield when the kick is taken from general play.
Now here's Dowling again being met by a solid tackle. Walters was in there again, so was Todd. Now Miles takes it up, and look at the Canberra defence forming in on him. Canberra facing their 3rd loss on the trot today if they can't get over the Broncos, as Bacco succumbs to another solid hit. Walters. Jackson can't handle it. Kilroy does. Yes, the Raiders were beaten in Newcastle, then by Penrith. Now look at Dowling again being hit in a solid tackle. Last tackle for the Broncos. Blindside is Lewis. That kick will find touch about 2 metres out from the Canberra line.
A beautifully calm Wally Lewis there. Just got that little kick in neatly up the sideline. It takes play to within a couple of metres of the corner post. And a scrum now deep in Canberra's territory.
Stewart working it for the Raiders. Now O'Sullivan. Stewart having trouble picking it up. Here's Belcher. Belcher dangerously into the back line. Great run from the fullback. In outstanding form at the moment. Now Todd. 10 metres from the halfway mark. Ricky Stewart. No way through there for him. Coyne. The Raiders have one more tackle in this set. Stewart sends Duffy back on his own line. Caught by Daly. Still inside the quarter as Kilroy tries to spin out of one. In trouble now though, still yet to reach the corner line. Leman, now he's over the line. French. Miles and Jackson, and now Curry with some room to move. Curry's up to the halfway mark before he found support. Now Johns got it back inside for Madison. Great run from the Broncos. 32 metres out now from the Raiders line as Dowling brings it up again. This is the last one for the Broncos. Switch of play from Lewis to the man. He was able to get it away to Jackson and then to Curry. But the ball is loose and over the line.
Well, of course, there was the play there has been ruled to be a handover, so the Canberra Raiders are back in possession right now. They've started at a great pace, these two sides. The ball has swung backwards and forwards and up and down the field. I suspect it's going to be a real top-notch game.
Diamond now trying to bring it away for the Raiders. Now Lazarus.
Got a lot of room up the middle there.
The Broncos were sitting back waiting for him on that occasion. They weren't moving up. Now Steve Walters right up the middle. In the Panasonic Cup final, this is where Illawarra showed that Brisbane might be vulnerable. Stewart, the dummy, gives himself time to get a better kick in. Down into the quarter, and a super kick.
A magnificent kick there from Stewart. He really got the ball on a string here at Seaford Oval. That's a beautiful kick. It's a gain of about 55 metres, end over the sideline, and now they're deep in the Broncos territory, so it's gone backwards and forwards, up and down, all over this first couple of minutes.
French to feed this for Brisbane as we welcome all those Victorian Rugby League fans down south. Nice to have you aboard for our coverage down there, and we wish you well with your season. As Brisbane find themselves under a little bit of pressure early in the quarter. Kerrod Walters, and pretty slippery conditions here at Seaford. And Bill Anderson, Canberra sending out a lineup not unlike the one that really gave Canterbury a lesson here earlier in the first round.
That's right, Graham, and on that day their little men out wide creating havoc with the Canterbury defence. They seem to be able to handle these sorts of conditions well and keep their feet. If they do it today, they'll give Brisbane some real problems, who I would expect to tire.
Stewart on the first tackle says let's go wide. Daly up against Jackson, back for Ferguson. He beats Madison. The crowd roar as Ferguson sets sail. A real hero in the nation's capital, Johnny Ferguson. Now Clyde played strongly for New South Wales during the week in the second state of origin. O'Sullivan, Henjack now. Couldn't slip it to Belcher. Both sides showing that they can stretch each other out wide in the early stages. O'Sullivan, Belcher, hit right on the quarter by Curry. Last tackle against the Raiders. Stewart wants it. He signals the midfield bomb. It's going to come down with snow on it. Where's Duffy? Takes it well.
Beautifully weighted bomb there from Stewart, put Duffy under all sorts of pressure, but he did evade the first tackle and was able to get a few yards gained, but that was a very, very close thing there for a few moments. Yes, let's have a look at these lower grades. Only the reserve grade in this match here. Canberra 22 came away with a very strong performance against Brisbane 4.
Now Dowling back for Leman, and French, quick hands beautifully. Lewis, for once he dies with the ball. He had no support. Last tackle against Brisbane. Back for Jackson. He gets the kick in. One hop, and everybody's getting into the act with the kicking game.
Yes, Jackson's joined the professional-looking kickers here. There seem to be an array of them from either side. That was another great kick. It's a gain of about 45 metres diagonally across field. And once again, we're in the Canberra Raiders territory.
Well, as Jackson showed, he knows every inch of this Seaford Oval. One of the men that left that Canberra party that we mentioned at the start of the show today to join Brisbane only this year. Now Daly did well to trap that ball behind him. Henjack is down. The crowd may be booing over an incident that I wasn't aware of as a penalty comes for the Raiders. Here it is.
Well, he seems to cop it late here. We're watching it on the State Bank replay. It was fairly late tackle on him, not suggesting that it was worthy of a penalty, but the tackle came in and the young fellow, well, not the young fellow, but the fellow was down and really given a bit of a workout there. He's on his feet now and regaining his position out in the centre.
Well, I must have been a bit surprised that a touch judge didn't come in on that late and high. Lazarus. Steve Walters has already made one great break. Now Lazarus again, he finds room up the middle. Steve Walters again with support. Diamond drags it in. He'll score! Another great break. The Raiders get the first try.
Well, a very important try too, because this Broncos side needs sitting back on their heels. And we've got this beautiful run here from young Walters. He swings the pass away as he went to the left. Got it out there to Lazarus. Lazarus goes through a couple of defenders there rather weakly. Gets a nice pass back on the inside to Walters, who'd got off the ground. And there's Diamond. Now, he's no slouch over a 20-metre sprint. Let me tell you, this big boy can run. And on that occasion, he ran very well. Walters there. Now, watch the speed with which he gets to back up again. Here goes Lazarus, and the pass comes back on the inside to Walters again, who's backing up. And there's Diamond selectively taking that pass on the move and going very, very fast the required distance. I think Walters, if there was a person responsible for the try, would get that without any shadow of a doubt. It was a first-class bit of football by Walters, who seems keyed up to have an enormous game. He started at a great pace.
The Butcher carved them up in the 9th minute of the first half. Belcher, 5 goals in 1989. The skipper today, he adds the extra 2 points. They're off to a flying start. The Raiders 6-0. Todd making the advantage line, and Brisbane tending to sit back in defence and not moving up. Now Stewart. Coyne turns his back. Stewart again. Penalty, and again for inside the 5. Madison was standing on the other side of the ruck. I told you just a minute ago, says Mick Stone.
The look of bewilderment on Madison's face, but really the sign of an intelligent thinking footballer is he takes notice of what he's told by the referee, particularly if he's singled out and given a caution for it.
Don Furner and Wayne Bennett sitting together. They were joint coaches of the Raiders in 87. 1 from 1 for Belcher. Settles, plenty of time. Miss kicks it, and badly. Valuable 2 points gone. They still lead 6-0, the Raiders.
So Lewis back for the restart from the 22. Belcher again involved in the play, bringing it back. French and Madison in there to make the tackle on him. Here's Diamond to the halfway mark. Here's Stewart. Now Walters still been called to play it.
If he gets credited for that tackle on himself.
Well, here's Kilroy back in his own in goal. Ferguson's chasing him, but Kilroy's just killed the ball.
Well, looking at that, Ferguson was the only player coming fairly close to him, but perhaps he took the odds to it, not wanting to put himself under any pressure at all. But I had the impression he could have scooped it up and perhaps made some ground back. Anyway, he had one of the fastest men in rugby league chasing him in Ferguson. I guess you don't want to take any risks with that sort of opposition.
Now Lewis is coming back for the restart here, but in defence, that arms Billy Anderson seems to be worrying him.
It certainly is. He's clearing it right out of the way in all the tackles he's making. He was making them on the left-hand side or trying to push the attacking players. Here's a break.
Here's a break from Carey. He's up to the quarter line. A sensational run. And the Raiders right on the charge now as Stewart gets it away to O'Sullivan on the Daly. Daly almost sliced through the gap. 10 metres out, the Raiders putting real pressure on the Broncos now. O'Sullivan caught at the dummy half position. Back for Stewart again. Away goes Todd. Lazarus it was. And from dummy half, they're almost in. Last tackle signalled. Stewart scooped it up for Henjack. Now out for Daly. Daly steps
sensational try. I thought they made 2 errors in that. I thought Daly propped and came back on the inside. I thought he'd butchered it, but they managed to come up with it. Now, there was the kick through by Stewart, who had the ball rebound off a Broncos player. Then it goes out to Daly. He comes back on the inside. At that point, I thought it was butchered. But there was Belcher, the fullback, coming up, and out was Bradley Clyde on the wing. For some reason, right out the wing. Watch this kick. It ricochets off a Bronco player. He regathers the ball, fires an exceptionally long pass. Look at that. That's gone about 30 yards. Now, there's Daly propping, coming back on the inside, but he had the nous to give the pass away again. Belcher was there, all his pace. Bradley Clyde was only about 5 yards from the goal line at the point. So that was a very good try, quick-thinking try, and one that really has put the Broncos back on their heels.
Well, he's only 19, but he plays like a veteran, doesn't he, Bradley Clyde?
He certainly does. That was a very... I still can't work out what he was doing out the right wing at that particular point in time, but they're pretty thankful that he was there.
So Gary Belcher, 1 from 2.
Was curious too when Carey made that run down the middle. He beat Lewis, who managed from the broad of his back to put a hand up and trip him. There's a great goal.
Oh, beautiful kick from Belcher from the touchline. Marvellous kick from the fullback. 12-0, Canberra lead Brisbane.
Who has made plenty of yardage up the middle.
Well, haven't they all? The Canberra Raiders forwards have been running fairly freely down the middle of the run.
Coyne. Last tackle against Canberra. Back for Stewart. Down in behind Kilroy. It breaks across for Duffy, who slips. Now Daly. 3 big tackles in the last 60 seconds of play.
I reckon Daly's got the wrong sprigs on for this ground. He's slipped like that on nearly every occasion he's tried to catch the ball.
Lewis. French. Jackson. Curry. To the outside of his man, slips the ball for Johns. Jackson again, French, they're keeping it alive. Belcher had to move up in the front line to block the gap. Again, they go wide. Madison, Miles. One of his basketball passes out for Kilroy. And again, it's Daly in defence. Madison. Looking and needing to hit back strongly, Brisbane. Last tackle. Lewis, short blindside. Kicks across field over the head of Stewart. Carey. Traps it at his feet, makes a meal of it, then recovers, does well too. Ducking under the man's tackle, he gets back to 10 metres out from his line. He's injured. Stone is quickly called for some attention.
Well, Carey fielded this ball very well. It was a sort of a cross kick from the right-hand side of the field. Carey came through 2 defenders and finally went down in the ground. He's got a problem now with his knee. This is the situation. He made a bit of a meal of picking it up, but there he does. He picks it up now, evades the first defender. That was Dowling, and then got round French, and then he was off, and I'm not just sure how his leg got involved in the tackle, but he's not in great comfort there at the moment. He's pretty distressed about the way the leg is. Now, this looks like young Bell. Are we right, Bill?
Yes, it's Mark Bell in number 40, just received instructions from Timmy Sheens via the telephone, so he certainly knows what to do when he gets on there anyhow.
So it's Carey to his feet. Belcher will play the ball for him. Todd. Working play away, trying to get it out of their own quarter now, Canberra. In what's been a great first half for them so far, and they've got Brisbane by 12. Steve Walters giving his brother Kerrod plenty to chase today. He's hanging on.
I wonder if they'll ever get the impulse to give each other a bit of a whack.
Over the head of Duffy again.
There he goes down again.
He can't get away from Henjack either. 7 handling errors already against the Broncos, just the 3 on the Raiders, as Lewis sends Curry away. Carey is being forced from the field, and Bell is out there. Now French. A little bit disjointed, Brisbane, with Lewis carrying an arm injury. not having his normal involvement. No Alan Langer. Miles. This is better for Curry. Clyde showing the pace that he has as a back rower to get across there in cover. Pass looked forward to Miles from the play the ball. Last tackle against Brisbane. Lewis just waiting the kick towards the in goal. Ferguson will be first man there. Scurrying across field around Dowling. Can't beat French in a good tackle. Belcher. Now Bell, his first touch. Ducks under a tackle from Backo. Todd. The difference being so far that the Canberra forwards are finding plenty of holes up the middle. Lazarus. Just there. They've been making it easy. Belcher. Stewart. Big kick. Is it too much? It's not. Once more he slipped. Stewart's on the chase. Recovered by Kilroy. He's ruled Stewart offside. He's the man that kicked the ball.
Well, it's an astonishing performance there. There's the ball being knocked by the player on the ground, Duffy, who slipped again into the hands of Joe Kilroy. And Laurie has been... Stewart, rather, has been penalised for being offside. I find that one very hard to follow.
Well, it's enabled the Broncos to come back 32, 33 metres out from the Raiders' line. And Backo and the referee, I think he's realised he's made a blue. Here's Walters.
Well, there was a little bit of shepherding in that lot too.
Got away with that. Here's French. Well, again, the indecision in the Broncos side, and how much are they missing Alan Langer? Dowling's passes come back for Gene Miles. Let's not forget that Langer and Lewis, in fact, most of this Brisbane side have really missed few games together. Worked on a great combination now as Madison has given it back to Walters, and he's pulled out just 10 metres out from the Canberra line. So the opportunity for the Broncos to get on the board. Laman thrown to the ground. Now they've only got one more tackle in this set. The long passes come out for Miles. Still going Miles, the one-hander back for Dowling and back to Madison. Has he got the ball down? That's a try. Terry Madison in for the Broncos. Great comeback.
How important is the decision now?
Well, just watch this on the State Bank replay. The lob pass out to Gene Miles changes direction completely. Wrong foots the opposition, comes back on the inside. A one-handed conventional pass this time, and it's Dowling that does the basketball pass to Madison. Over he goes for a try next to the post. There's the long pass from Walters out. Gene Miles props, comes back on the inside. The one-hander. Now watch Dowling. He gives the basketball pass, the one that Miles usually does, and Madison's the scorer of the try. Well, this is a great comeback from the Broncos. They look a little bit tired to me, as if some of the players that have been around earlier in the week are really feeling the strain. But there it was, close enough to get the try, and a good one too.
Yes, Terry Madison, and a bit of a bump on the old schnolls for him. But as you say, Graham, how important is that decision from Mick Stone to give the penalty to the Broncos on their own quarter line? And ultimately, Mick Stone's decision has allowed the Broncos to score the try. I mean, you can't say that, can you? But it's certainly gone a long way to getting him back into the football game. So Madison, with the simple conversion, makes no mistake. And the Broncos are back into it, but the Canberra side lead 12-6.
Terrific upset. Stewart back inside for Clyde. Steve Walters, dummy half. Off for Todd. Go deep inside the quarter now. Right in midfield. Stewart, just the 1 point he'll do. No, off the side of the foot. Doesn't change. 12-6 to the Raiders. Now Kerrod Walters with the restart. Backo. 3 defenders to greet Big Sam. Straight into the mud here at Seaford. Miles. Hands out for Kilroy. They're going to take him over touch. A couple of mistakes from Brisbane inside the last 5 minutes here. It'll be a scrum and a feed for Canberra. On early tackles, that put tremendous pressure on Kilroy with nowhere to go. Quickly back for O'Sullivan. Henjack, run around. Straight across the paddock. Ball comes loose for Daly. He hands it off to Ferguson. He's got Duffy around his legs. Quick play the ball. Lazarus up the middle again. No fullback at home at present for Brisbane if he hadn't busted the line. Duffy was up in the line. Now Coyne driven sideways by Curry. Belcher, the dummy, he goes blindside for Henjack. Stopped by Kerrod Walters. Now Stewart, big back line. Long pass right out for Daly on Lewis. Can he get rid of him? He does. Ferguson, the pass back inside, knocked down. He's finally wrapped up by Miles on the last tackle. Lewis is still carrying that shoulder injury. Stewart, another field goal. He hits this one sweet as a nut. He missed it only seconds ago.
Yes, a magnificent right foot field goal on the run by Ricky Stewart here. This is harking right back to his rugby days, but that was a beautifully taken field goal. Gives them that extra point, takes them away from the evenness of the score. Should the Broncos get a converted try now, they've still got a point to get, 13-6.
Third field goal in 89 for Stewart. Let's keep going till half-time, he says to his forwards. Lewis with the restart. Back it comes for Mark Bell. Bill, a tough question for Wally Lewis and Wayne Bennett at half-time about the skipper's injury in the shoulder.
Yeah, I don't think they can persist with him in this game, Graham. I think that Wally, great player that he is, you can't just play with one arm in rugby league. He's got all of the skills, but he's very hamstrung, pardon the pun, at the moment. I just don't think it's the Wally Lewis that we know.
Speaking of hamstrings, Laurie Daly has moved out to the wings, been holding his right hamstring. So more trouble for the Raiders.
Well, he did injure an ankle as well on Wednesday night in the State of Origin. Now, Coyne. Down the blind side he goes. Back infield for Henjack. Taken by Dowling. Last tackle. They spread it. Stewart's got the short chip. Walters is back there. Great cover defence from the hooker.
Yes, a beautifully judged bit of football here by Walters to take the problem away there, because the Stewart was on the chase very quickly.
Now Lewis spreading the ball for Jackson. Defence was up very, very quick on Jackson. There's the siren for half-time. Dowling dies with the ball, and a very impressive display by Canberra. They're going to lead at the break by 13 points to 6.
Blows time on for the second half. A lot of concern for Wally Lewis in the Brisbane dressing room. Bill Anderson, what's the story?
That is right, and as you can see, Steve Renouf in 17's taken his place, and Jackson's gone to 5'8", but they're very worried about Wally Lewis in the Brisbane dressing room. He's injured the same arm that he broke at the end of last season in that representative game in New Zealand. They think it possibly could be broken again. We don't like to preempt those things, but he will be getting it checked.
Gee, that is a big story. And what's the news with Laurie Daly?
Laurie Daly's gone back onto the field. His leg's been strapped. They're hoping he can get through this 40 minutes. It'll be a mammoth effort if he does, but they don't want to replace him. He's doing such a great job in defence for them out wide.
Certainly is. Now Smoking Joe Kilroy back to retrieve this kick just outside his own quarter line. Broncos have certainly been under enormous pressure in the first half. We've only seen their colours lowered on 2 occasions this year, by Balmain and St George. Here's Jackson. 30 metres out from the Brisbane line as Walters runs from dummy half. Now French giving it away to Dowling. Back for Leman. Back for French again. One hop to Kilroy. Ferguson's there to wrap him up with some support. We mentioned the huge crowd. It is a big crowd. In fact, it is a new ground record here. 18,272 people on hand here at Seaford to see this very entertaining game of football. The last crowd of record was 17,700 when Canberra played Parramatta back in 1983. Now the Broncos pick up possession as Diamond wasn't able to hang on to it. Backo straight up the middle. Caught by Bell and Belcher. Now Dowling to Madison. French, Jackson, Johns. Jackson again. Back for Duffy. Reaches the quarter line. Now it's the last tackle signalled against the Brisbane side. Walters from dummy half. Belcher's back there to protect the line, and just as well he was. Makes it dead.
Yes, a clever little kick here on the State Bank replay by Kerrod Walters, the hooker in the side. And it was weighted beautifully because it took Gary Belcher to belt the ball over the dead ball line to ensure that there was a problem for them.
So it'll be Ricky Stewart from right underneath the posts. Long drop kick. It's a long kick. 10 metres over halfway, in fact, by the time Duffy was able to pick it up. Well, the Broncos have made 10 handling errors, considerably more than the Raiders. It's contributed to the problems they have at the moment. And also, to compound that problem, they've missed more tackles, twice as many tackles as the Raiders. And here's Curry, getting it away to Renouf. Renouf got it back to Curry. Did well to stay in the field of play too. He's only about 10 metres out. Walters is dummy half. It's come across for Backo. Quick hands to Jackson. There's a gap there for Jackson. If he can get across the line. Is he there? No. Lost the football.
Just briefly short of the line, and the scrum comes out to be fed again here by the Canberra Raiders, just outside, 5 yards out from their line. Incredibly close.
Work by Stewart. It's gone with the feed, and Stewart's gone straight through the dummy. Now has he got the pace? Look at the chasers after him. French is after him. Renouf's after him. But Belcher's there to back him up. And we won't catch Belcher. Gary Belcher in for the Raiders. Superb try started by Ricky Stewart. Great stride from the Raiders. And the crowd has gone crazy.
Beautiful to watch. Just watch it. The big dummy there from Stewart from a scrum 5 yards out from his line, through the dummy and went beyond the halfway line, as you can see. Looked around, was starting to get a bit desperate, but Belcher, the comforting side of a very fleet-footed fullback coming up on the outside, was a little bit of a saviour for him. Here he goes. Beautiful run, looking perfectly out there to Belcher. Belcher knows that he's got the pace on Renouf, the replacement player that's come into this side, and away he goes with a very, very good try. A try that really shocked the Broncos, coming as it did just shortly after the half-time break.
What a start for the second half for the Raiders. Gary Belcher in to score the try. And the man who started it, Ricky Stewart, with a beautiful dummy at the scrum base, fooled everybody. And the Broncos have plenty of talking to do. Dowling looks like he's taken over the captaincy from Lewis. But the chants continue to come from this record crowd at Seaford for the Raiders. Now Laurie Daly, with his right hamstring heavily strapped. There's the angle. There's the conversion attempt, but it's just to the side of the post. So he can't have the extras. But
and Brisbane really looking down the barrel now as Coyne brings it back from the kickoff, because they've got a tough schedule, Brisbane, and they'll be missing representative stars who will go on the New Zealand tour. They need a match like this to have points up their sleeve for that occasion. Dowling's leading them now with Lewis off the field. He and Dowling are the ones that have got to lift their game. Clyde went straight past him. Duffy slipped over again. Clyde's run round him and scored an incredible try. The crowd's on their feet again. They've hardly had time to settle after Belcher's try. The match is gone. An upset, surely, for Canberra. They can't come back from this.
Bradley Clyde does marvellously well, and at this point you can't see it. Duffy fell over, the fullback. There he is, just getting to his feet. I said earlier I thought he had the wrong springs on. He looks like he's got roller skates on. He can't stand up on this ground. Not that he probably would have been able to stop a try there. He may have been able to stop Clyde. Now here's Clyde just running through the ruck. He's just gone past Gene Miles, wrong-footed him. Beautiful sidestep there off the left foot. Duffy was there. He is coming in at the end. He's made an absolute meal of everything he's done today because of some problem with his boots. And it's just astonishing that they haven't done something about it. Here he is, Bradley Clyde, in between Sam Backo, who made not much of an effort, Gene Miles, who was wrong-footed, Duffy, who'd fallen over. It was just an afternoon sprint for Clyde. He said, I'll just go and have a little bit of a track work and I'll see you down the pub later. That's what he's done. Just a beautiful try from him, and his second one for the day. And will this give him a lot of confidence? He's a player of great maturity for a youngster such as he is, and I commend the try to him.
Stewart, the third kicker for Canberra today, from right in front. Well, he's kicked it under the crossbar. Talk about an incredible try. 21-6, Canberra over Brisbane.
Well, who else have they got left?
Brisbane back to halfway. Laurie Daly's left the field. He's with Bill Anderson.
Laurie, sensational effort by Canberra.
Yeah, Bill, all our little guys are working really hard. Our forwards are going forward. And, it's just been a terrific effort. But there's, 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes or so, we're going to keep at it.
Your players just seem to be able to keep their feet in these sloppy conditions, and the Brisbane players, well, they're just slipping over.
Yeah, they're slipping over, and that's good for us. And I think we enjoyed the tracks like this. Against Canterbury, we give them a bit of a hiding, so we love the track.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
So Daly says that Canberra are the mudlarks of the competition. They're showing it. They keep it alive against Stewart. Diamond right into the clear. He's got support on the inside. Is he going to use it? Bellamy brought down 5 metres out. Ferguson at dummy half. Quick play the ball. O'Sullivan crashes over. No, he's a metre short. Double movement, in fact, says Stone.
Well, I know the referees are never wrong, but O'Sullivan's there, very dark about that decision. He considers that he scored a try, but we'll see it probably better from here. Does he land on the line? He lands short and bounces over. We'll assume that the referee saw the advancement of the arms after the tackle had been completed. So there's a bit of bad luck, because that certainly, well, they would have kicked that goal. They could have thrown that one over.
Backo takes it up as Donnelly loosens up on the sideline.
For Backo, mate.
Backo, you heard from Bill Anderson, will be the man to come off. Now another mistake from Brisbane as Donnelly takes the field. And Backo, who we mentioned would have to lift his work rate in the match, is not going to get a further chance from here as Wayne Bennett tries to tighten it up the middle of the ruck. Miles leaves the field, so Plowman is out there. Clyde, what a match he's had, backing up from Wednesday night also.
Now to the losing side.
Not today, though. The shadows creeping across this Seaford Oval. Ferguson does his best to creep right up the middle. Henjack! Past Renouf, loses the ball. Duffy made the tackle on him. It'll be pulled back for the scrum. And Duffy's still down.
Well, there's Henjack making the break and being dispossessed of the football. And we see Mark Bell come in and kick the ball ahead. But there's Henjack. The ball pops straight out of his arms. There's a few in pursuit of it.
Duffy's still down as the scrum finally packs. Jackson calls in Renouf from the far wing. Madison calls in Plowman. Right on halfway. Duffy finally to his knees at least. French. Long pass out for Curry. Back infield quickly for Jackson. Held by Todd and finished off by Coyne. Now, Leman, nowhere to go. They lack the two best players in the world, or arguably the best players in the world, in Langer and Lewis. Neither man on the field. Duffy back into position, but not looking 100%. As they kick out on the full, so it's all going wrong. And the handover coming for Canberra. Bellamy will play it. Todd brings it away. Now Stewart. Bellamy. Belcher, in fact, for Clyde. Kicks ahead for Ferguson and O'Sullivan. Kilroy getting back. He's lost it. It's a try. Johnny Ferguson's picked up 4 points. The mistake from Kilroy and another try to the Canberra Raiders.
Well, Bradley Clyde is instrumental in this. A beautifully weighted little kick. You'll see him come into the clear now. Here he comes running straight towards us. Then selectively, he does this little kick through and he more or less thrills his backs on. Now, Ferguson's one of the backs that's in pursuit. Kilroy's the nearest, but Ferguson's making up ground, loses the football, carries it over with his arm and scores the try. That's a great try. Bradley Clyde showing all the skills this afternoon. He's shown us that he can run, he's shown us he can step, now he's showing us that he can kick. There's the ball being lost, there's the retention of the ball by Ferguson to sweep it over the line in one movement and get it down. So Johnny Ferguson, age 30, whatever it is, we say 34, has still got the capability to score magnificent tries. That was one.
8 tries in 89 for Ferguson. I guess if politicians could only be as popular down in the nation's capital as that man. Clyde, what a match he's had. And Timmy Sheens with Big Mal Meninga saying your shout tonight to celebrate the win, and what a win it's been. Stewart. He missed with his first attempt from right in front, which he put under the crossbar. As we look at a bewildered Brisbane Broncos outfit, hit with injuries before the match. And now the doubt on Wally Lewis maybe breaking the arm that he did in the World Cup final against New Zealand back in last October. Stewart from out wide. He missed it from in front. He's got it from out on touch. 27-6, the Raiders over the Broncos. He ran behind Donnelly. Plowman a dummy half. French was the replacement for Langer. He called for it. They go the other way. Madison wrapped up low by Diamond. Not making an impression. Now Jackson does up the middle. Looks to unload back on the inside. He's still going. Madison, the kick, the bomb. It's going to nearly go out of the ground. Missed the in goal by about 30 metres. Back it'll come to the quarter. 27-6, the Raiders have got the Broncos, who go wide. Canberra looking for Clyde again.
He's incredibly powerful young fellow, that Bradley Clyde. Took a perfectly good tackle and was entitled to go down and take it, but he battled his way on for another 5 or 6 yards.
Now Steve Walters back for brother Kevin. Out they come to Diamond. Ricky Stewart, who played so well, won't be back from the headbin. Kevin Walters will finish the match. And he's on the blind side, enjoying his time out there. The little kick ahead for Bell, who nearly got a foot to it. Renouf was lucky enough to come up with the dregs. Now Duffy, who's had an absolute nightmare today. Leman. Dowling. Kinescu straight out of dummy half. They're going to get the penalty for Canberra inside the 5. looking so good about 11 days ago as Jackson looks for touch and fails to find it. He'll bring it back and take on Kilroy. In fact, he uses Belcher inside. He uses Clyde. And once again, the big man's away. It'll turn Brisbane round very quickly. O'Sullivan senses that and called for it out wide. Henjack. Kevin Walters straight up the middle, looking for some runners to join him to the outside of Jackson. Inside now for Belcher. Dummies. Now he gives it to Ferguson. Clyde, they've got support here. Will he pick up his try? He's going for three to the corner, I should say. He misses it and goes in touch, a metre away.
Well, he was certainly enthusiastic about scoring that third try. There's little question about this. This is at the end of a game. This bloke has run. I'd like to have a mileometer on him today to see just how far he's run. All long runs with the football. He's a credit to the New South Wales team. He was one of the two best players we had on the field, I believe, the other night in that match against the State of Origin, and he's continued today. Just a great ball.
I mentioned about the great Panasonic Cup win by Brisbane. Now Langer, with reports coming from Brisbane today that maybe he's out for the entire season. And if it's confirmed that Lewis has rebroken that arm of his from the World Cup final last year against New Zealand, then maybe their hopes in 1989 might go out the window. They bring it away from the quarter line.
There's little doubt that Wally Lewis is a super player, but I get a little bit offended by people saying he's the greatest player of all time, because I think other people have got very short memories to some of the great footballers we've produced in this country, and you can't possibly relate one era to another.
Certainly, if Lewis has rebroken his arm, as you say, Graham, along with Langer's injury, it will be a tremendous struggle for the Broncos for the rest of the year. They've got trouble enough as it is trying to contain these Raiders, who are spinning the football around brilliantly, and they're going to get 6 more tackles. Here's Walters again. He's been everywhere since he came onto the field. His brother from dummy half. And a little kick ahead again in the in-goal area. Madison is back there to save the day for the Broncos. As another change comes out for the Canberra side, Bill.
Ashley Gilbert in 23 takes the place of Craig Diamond, who must have pleased his coach.
Gilbert in 23. I'm running out of room on the paper here. Certainly using a lot of replacements today.
Well, Diamond certainly has played very well today. Probably the best game I've ever seen him play for Canberra. But Ashley Gilbert, who's come on as a replacement, won the Man of the Match award in reserve grades. They've replaced one with another one.
Yeah, both sides have got a lot of depth. The knock-on from O'Sullivan will bring a scrum about 35 metres out from the Brisbane line. French, we'll be looking at the halfback spot for the rest of the year. Gets it away to Jackson. Now to Curry. Now Kilroy with some room to move. Smoking Joe's over the halfway mark. Being chased by Belcher, who brings him down in a lovely tackle. Can they continue that momentum now, the Broncos? Jackson wants to get in there. His pass is not a real good one. Been picked up by Leman. Plowman's got it. Away to Dowling. Dowling blinks up with Renouf. Renouf working his way upfield again. Kinescu dummy half, gives it to Dowling. It's come out for Leman. Here's Jackson again. The pass to Curry wasn't a good one. It's been picked up by guess who? Chigga Ferguson, who's tripped over his shoelace. Oh, Chigga!
Now let's give credit to Duffy there for an incredible dive. As you'll see, his hands just touch the feet. Just there.
Well, the Raiders continue that move, though. Lazarus will play it 32 metres out. Henjack dummy half. Going to have a little run from there. A dummy to Bellamy back inside. Links up with Walters, and they've just got him by the jumper. He's been pulled down about 18 metres out. Now, Walters from dummy half. Drops the ball back. Canescu's fallen on it for Brisbane. There's some entertaining stuff coming in the last 5 minutes or so of this match. Donnelly. Now Canescu from dummy half gives it to Dowling. Still inside their own quarter, the Broncos, as James Donnelly reaches the quarter line. He's French. One cut-out ball for Jackson, and quickly gives it on to Plowman. Straight up the middle he goes. He's caught, though, by Henjak. Last tackle against the Broncos. Jackson out for Renouf. Can't get around his opposite man, Bell. And that is the sixth tackle, and that'll be a turnover. But in view of the injury plight of the Broncos, so much is going to fall on the shoulders of Peter Jackson now. Jackson, who, of course, missed a lot of the early part of the season through injury, consequently couldn't get in the State of Origin side. So pressure on him, perhaps for the rest of the year. Who knows? Here's O'Sullivan. Saw the gap. Got it back inside to Gilbert. In turn to Belcher. Inside the Broncos quarter again. Wallace, the hooker, is down receiving attention in back play. Here's Henjak. He's about 15 metres out now. Across for O'Sullivan. Away for Coyne. Coyne got the pass back inside for Belcher, who flicks it anywhere, and there was that Wallace was there to try and fall on it, but he knocked it on, and so have the Brisbane players. So the double knock on, and a scrum will go down 10 metres out from the Brisbane line.
So Brisbane now have got about 5 minutes of their toughest ever day in the Winfield Cup to go. 27-6 to Canberra. As Duffy comes away from the scrum. Madison to hit it up. Straight into Gilbert, who stole the ball off him. Canberra aren't finished. They spread it wide to Kevin Walters. He's got support inside. He goes outside to Ferguson. Johnny Ferguson back for Walters, and they're about 6 metres away. Steve Walters. He's had a whale of a game for Canberra, especially in the first half. Back for Coyne. Todd. Shepherd. There's going to be no arguments there.
You see this again on the State Bank replay. There's a definite trajectory back behind two of his own players there. So Todd transgressed. The Broncos get the penalty and a slight moment of relief.
Jackson to look for touch.
No one allowed on the play surface at all.
4 penalties to the Broncos in the second half, none to Canberra. But Brisbane a whopping 30 missed tackles throughout. Donnelly. Bennett is certainly going to do it tough as he tries to settle on a combination to bounce back. After a week of injuries he'd like to forget. Just what's he going to come up with now without Langer and maybe Lewis? French to feed. Out for Jackson. Curry. He steps O'Sullivan back in for Jackson. He's had the ball ripped away too, and Gilbert has it. The crowd, and a ground record here today of over 18,000. 272 in fact, calling out for the Raiders to finish the upset with a try.
Ironic cheer from the Canberra supporters there who welcomed this penalty. The first one they've had.
Lewis, grim-faced as is Bennett, peeking at the action that still hasn't finished. About 2 minutes to go. Canberra might finish in a flurry, right on the quarter line. Henjack O'Sullivan, a mile forward. Could have just about been a penalty, in fact.
A little bit over-anxious there. They're just really going through the motions now, but that was quite patently a forward pass. Could have been construed as a deliberate offside pass, but the referee is feeling in a slightly magnanimous mood at the moment, I think.
So maybe the scoreboard attendants get a chance to knock off, as Brisbane should finish in possession. Time almost up on a disaster for the Broncos. But a real celebration for the Raiders. Brisbane run straight into Cronulla and a tough one at Lane Park next weekend. Real horror stretch coming up for them, minus their stars. Ferguson. Lewis has been in brilliant form. We certainly trust that it's not a major injury. Coyne. Into a gap. Back on the inside. Henjack just failed to get a hand to it. And now a knock on. Some very, very tired players. It's a pretty heavy field here at Seaford. Rain here yesterday. Henjack has played well in his return to the top grade. Also, Belcher. Midfield bomb that's going to be out. End of the game. A super win to Canberra. They're really putting pressure on a top 3 position. Problems for the Broncos, and maybe in the mud at Seaford. The concern over Alan Langer stretches to the finest player in Australia, their skipper Wally Lewis. He awaits X-rays on a possible broken arm. The Raiders 27-6 over Brisbane. Well, twice we've been to Canberra in 1989, and for the second occasion, Brad Clyde picks up our State Bank man of the match. 2 tries today, could have been 3.
Yeah, mate, I looked for the pass inside, but to Duffy's credit, he made a good tackle.
You're entitled to be a little bit tired after Wednesday night.
Yeah, I started to feel the pinch probably later on in the game. You know, everyone says, oh, you're a young fella, you're supposed to not feel those sort of things, but I certainly felt it within the last 10.
It was set up in the first half, the forwards got on a roll.
Yeah, mate, we just kept on plugging away. We had a bit of ball, they come up with a few mistakes, and, you know, we played, you know, basically no mistake football, and we capitalised on that in the second half.
Talking about some capital from the State Bank, $1,000 straight into a State One saver account.
Mate, that's great. I'd like to thank State Bank.